Perfect. And so today's first episode, it's like amazing. First episode of the Vita Meter, we're going to do the American brand or American Flatbread brand pizza. So I actually bought this one at Whole Foods. I'm sure they also sell it at Sprouts, maybe Natural Grocers, I'm not sure. But this was actually my first time buying this brand. I have bought some other frozen pizza varieties. I have a 10-year-old and we just do pizza night, honestly, probably, I don't know, once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks. So I've definitely bought some other brands, but this one happened to be on sale the other day and I was like, well, let me check this out. And when I turned it over and looked at the ingredients, I was really pleasantly surprised. So I thought this would be a great product to do for our first session. So if you are a client of mine and we start working together, one of the sessions that I really like to do is label ingredient reading, okay? And that is totally different than nutrition facts, right? Label ingredient reading is literally just focusing on the ingredient section because that's really what's gonna tell you the most about the food that you're eating, okay? So when I, first of all, looked at the front of this is the cheese and herb one. They had another one with mushrooms, I believe. But it also says with mozzarella, garlic oil, fresh herbs, and then no artificial preservatives. That is what they're advertising here on the front. So I turned it over to make sure that was accurate. And what they've done is they've divided the ingredients up into the crust and then the toppings, right? So on the crust, the first ingredient literally says 100% organically grown wheat. That is the first ingredient. Now, that's amazing and wonderful, and that's really what we want to see. A lot of times on frozen pizza varieties, they'll have the dough like as the first ingredient, and then in parentheses, there's about, I don't know, 15 ingredients that the dough is comprised of, right? That being said, it's usually like enriched this, enriched that, blah, 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 okay? This is literally 100% organically grown wheat. So we know this has really, nothing's been taken out of it and then put back in that enriched state, okay? So that starts it off really, really well. Second ingredient is good mountain water. It literally says good mountain water, which I thought was so cute. One thing that I think a lot of dietitians don't talk about is the water that goes into making your food is actually really important. Just like the water that we're drinking, tap water, we don't probably drink it. Why would we use it to make our food? Because that water is actually going to comprise the structure of the food itself, right? So the fact that the second ingredient is good mountain water is like extra, extra, extra bonus. Like made me so happy to see that. And then the third ingredient is organic wheat bran. The fourth is kosher salt. And then the fifth is fresh yeast. This is literally pretty much, if you were making a dough at home, if you're making your own pizza dough from scratch, this is pretty much what would go into it. I mean, there wouldn't be much else. So I was super amazed at already just the crust part, like how great that was, how clean it was, how simple it was, and it was holding up to their no artificial preservatives. So far, so good. Now we go into the toppings part, right? So on the toppings, this is basically a cheese and herb pizza, right? So they have mozzarella cheese as your first cheese, and then in parentheses, it's got your whole milk, vegetable rennet, and salt. Perfect, great. There's nothing wrong with that. Then we go on to Vermont's Blythedale Farm Padano cheese. Again, parentheses, whole milk from Jersey cows, vegetable rennet, and salt. Perfect again. Rennet is always going to be an ingredient in cheese, so that's perfect. Great, no crazy yucky stuff in there so far. Then third is Parmesan cheese. So far we have 3 different types of cheeses. In the parentheses, it's cultured milk, vegetable rennet, and salt. Again, great. We're still going well. Then we go into the fourth ingredient, which they're using garlic oil. So then parentheses, extra virgin olive oil, canola oil, and fresh garlic. So they've made this little blend, right? This is great. The only thing I will say about this is that canola oil component. We don't really want to consume canola oil, especially on a grand scale. So I always tell people we're not going to cook with it. We're not going to use it as like our daily oil. a lot of processed packaged foods, even healthy ones that are on the higher end of the spectrum that I would rate really high and good, a lot of them are going to still have like an oil in there, like canola. Now, this is the 4th ingredient of the toppings, right? So that means it's a little bit further down the list. The top 3 ingredients are the most plentiful in that food. But it does, you know, when I cooked it, it's pretty crisp and pretty like moist and oily, right? So we know it has some significant oil in there. The olive oil is listed first, which is probably meaning that's what they use the most, right? Canola oil is listed second. So this dropped by rating down just a tad because it did have the canola oil in there, and I'm not really sure why this company chose to add that. I mean, they could have easily just done the extra virgin oil and the garlic. So moving on, then we have the 5th ingredient, fresh parsley, herbs, and kosher salt. And that's it. That was the entirety of the ingredients, from the crust to the toppings. So it is literally pretty much like you made this at home at this point. I mean, this was a far superior frozen pizza than I've really seen in a very long time. And by the way, it was delicious. It was amazing. It was crispy, and it's a nice flatbread. It's not a thick dough. It just tasted amazing. So for my Vita Meter rating for the American Flatbread brand pizza, I would rate this honestly like an 8.5. Because minus that canola oil, however much is in this product, I don't know. I'm assuming it's not that much, but minus that, this product is great. It tastes amazing, and this is actually one that I put on menus for my clients when, you know, pizza is something that they want. Frozen pizza, keeping it in the fridge is a great way to do easy meals. Pair it with a nice big green salad, pair it with nice steamed broccoli or some other vegetable, and you've got a really great, you know, mix. So anyway, that is my rating for the Vita Meter on the American Flatbread brand. Do you guys have any questions? Please write it in the comments, or of course reach out to me. But I hope you enjoyed this first episode, and if there's anything that I can do different, if there's anything that you want me to add to these episodes to help with your knowledge, your education, that's what I'm here for. So yeah, and if you are not a client, then please come. We do all sorts of cool stuff like this when we work together. So you guys have a wonderful Monday, I hope, and thank you for joining, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Okay, bye.